Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Floor Planner. My name is Bob. As I always say, I am here for customer success. I'm here to support you all as you continue to learn Floor Planner and develop your technique as you go forward. I want to share with you today a new feature that has been added as a tool inside Floor Planner. Actually, it kind of existed for a while, but it's really the new and improved. It is a presentation feature. Um, as you know, within Floor Planner, as you create many export images, your renderings, your two-dimensional floor plans, your JPEGs, PNG images, um, those images are stored associated with that project, and they can be downloaded to your device and utilized for communication to your client or whomever you're presenting to. Yet, inside Floor Planner, there is the presentation feature. Now, the presentation feature inside Floor Planner allows you to utilize all of those export images that you've created associated with your project and compile them to make a presentation. We've typically, in the past, certainly have downloaded copies from the cloud and put them on our devices and taken those images and reassembled them into PowerPoint presentations, slideshow presentations, etc. So now you have the ability, with some nice refinement on it, to go ahead and create them internally inside Floor Planner, and then export a slideshow presentation as a PDF. So really, really cool. I want to make sure you're comfortable with that. So we're going to take some time today and build a project together for presentation. So let's go ahead and take a peek at my Floor Planner account to get started. I built a project. Maybe let's get familiar with it real quick, a little bit more elaborate. And if you were to be building a brand new presentation, you have the ability over here certainly to select, not even open the project. And on the left-hand side, there's a tab over here for presentations. And inside presentations, we could actually build a new slideshow presentation for this. But I want to familiarize us just for a second so you know what type of project we're looking at. A little, like I said, a little bit more elaborate. I'm going to go ahead and double click and actually take a look at this project so you can see what we've constructed. This project out there certainly was a traced background from a plan that was already out in the cloud of a development. It's a condo building, put it into Floor Planner like we would typically do, and scaled it to real world scale and traced the project from there. I've built multiple designs in this particular project for different reasons of furnishings and different options, as again, these are other tools that we're familiar with in Floor Planner. These images, these different designs, I then created two-dimensional floor plan images and also some dollhouse rendered images and perspective looking down on the property. And then of course, camera views inside the rooms themselves and making those renderings. I've also made a style board. We've talked about building style board, mood board presentations. So we're gonna have access to that also in our presentation feature of how we're going to compile these exports using the presentation feature. So if I go back and take a look at, I've already created them. So we've already created some exports out there. If I go down here to the exports tab for this particular project, I made there's the actual, this plan that I inserted inside Floor Planner. I have that image as one that I exported. And then I've done some colorized room zoning studies, and then also a black and white line drawing. Did a 3D tour, also some interior renderings, dollhouse view renderings. Again, these are just some images certainly that you were able to create. Now I could select any one of these images and we know already we can download with the download button here, download a copy to the device we're working on and then reassemble them in other platforms. But we can do this another way. And that's what we're going to work on today. But I just wanted to get you a little bit more familiarized with, where is this project and exactly how it's built in here, the different designs. And there's the actual project. Go up here to our materials. 3D image. and I'll ask you of what we've built. So here's the project again that we're working with. There's paint color down there, the materials on the walls, the wallpapers, because materials and finishes in this room are also important because we're going to be able to show them as part of our presentation also. So let's go back to our two-dimensional view again and style boards. Made a mood board, style board for this project also. Assembled that. And let's go ahead and actually build a presentation for this project. So let's go back to the dashboard. And there is the same project selected and go over here to its presentations. Now I've already built one as an example, but we can build this from scratch. So let's take a moment and do so. So let's go to create a presentation for this particular project, create presentation. I'm going to go ahead and go for the premium on there because I want a higher resolution on it. And some of your accounts, depending on your account out there, may be automated that you will be working with the premium. So we're going to go ahead, which is your better quality image for your presentation if you exported PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and create this particular project, give it a name. I'm going to go ahead and call it Bob Condo for today. And let's go ahead and I'm not going to work with a template. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but right now we're just doing this as a raw presentation. Hit a create presentation tab. And there we go, out into the cloud, starting to build this presentation. Now we've got some options, starting with the cover page that we have right here. Now there's some information that's already going to be showing up. This is going to be your slideshow presentation. So this is your first slide. If I click inside the slide, I will have over here on the right-hand side, the fact that this is my cover and my cover settings for this particular page. There's a lot of information in here that we can add. I could give it a title. I'll call it just cover page just to give it a title. Depends on how you have a lot of freedom in your design of how you're going to create this information. I'm just my cover page. We can change the font size up here. We could also go ahead and change the font type to a different style if you care to for this cover page tag that's right there. We can also, we'll talk about background image in a second, but there's additional information on here. Include the creator details. We can turn it off because it knows me as the user of this particular account. That's my information. Again, you can turn that on or turn it off. There's also the client details. There's the date right there. We're part of the client details for this particular project. Again, fonts can be changed. The font sizes can be changed. And if you wanted to include a client name, we can just call it, Mrs. Jones or any such, but I'll just call it client name so you can see that it's actually coming up on our screen. And we have cover page information, but the background is a little boring. It's a white sheet. The background image, I find this really, really powerful. We can choose a JPEG PNG image to place in the background of this cover page. The locations of the text are going to be set as they are. So you're not going to be able to relocate them. So you may be working around them to build maybe a background image that may be of more interest. And again, the design variables that are available to you are pretty intense. I personally chose, kind of backwards, is to build my background image with a PowerPoint presentation. So I just open up a PowerPoint presentation. You can do this any which way, however you want to create a JPEG or PNG image to put a background in there. I just find PowerPoint actually quite easy to go ahead and build a slide, and I'm not going to teach a PowerPoint presentation class today, but there's all these features in here to insert images, insert another image inside here to add additional text, and you can, this is going to be a linked and just dropped finalized JPEG image when it's all done, which is what we're trying to get for the background image. So I have all this freedom of creative juices here to go ahead and make this, and be conscious of where those other text pieces are going to fall. I added a little disclaimer, a little image on the side. Again, however you want to brand it is totally up to you. Once this is created, if you're not familiar with PowerPoint presentations, this particular one slide can be a file save as, and at that point you can save as a JPEG image, and this image then would be shared, and saved to your device as a JPEG image, just a single one slide. And the imagery of that, which is how I created a background image to insert into our PowerPoint presentation. So again, your creativity is not limited to do so if you choose to do it this way or through another platform or another software to develop a background image. Find it very, very powerful. So I'm going to shut that down for the moment. And since I already created the image from that method, I'm going to say background image. I want to put a background image on my cover page, say choose an image. And on my desktop, I have a tab out there where I export it through that save as a PowerPoint presentation. I made these particular pages up here. There is one up here that has a cover. Say open, and you can see that it's now inserted itself here through the background image for this cover page. I added that's a nasty looking disclaimer. That's a little big. Let's find it, see if I got the other one out there. I'm going to change that out to this image. There we go. So I did that again in PowerPoint and went ahead and changed the fonts down here. So this is nothing but a JPEG image sitting in the background of the information that we just reviewed as to what can be showcased. And again, this information, these tabs in here, we can turn them off if you didn't want that information. So cover page, your freedom of how you want to create your first page. So if we say we're going to add a page, another slide, there's a second page. Now, it's not the cover page anymore, but now we can start doing other things with this. We could go ahead and actually use that same background again, or not use background, or make another specific background that you want to use. It makes some JPEG PNG title block, your call. But we're going to go ahead and maybe not be so engaged with the background and start actually working on this particular image. We could start by titling this particular page if you wanted to, call it, it may be the floor plan that we want to go ahead and show on this document. You can see that it shows in the lower left-hand corner. So you can actually title the page accordingly. You can change the order as to, right now it's slide 1 after the cover, slide 1. Once we have more slides, you can actually shift as to where those particular slides are showing up in your order. The layout of this particular sheet, this one volume inside here, we can change it to, it's kind of like you would have with a photo album. You have the different squares and such of different configurations. They are multiple configurations. I'm going to do this as just one slide up here right now. There's all these other divisions that you can have for your layout. Let's do it as a single, so we're just going to show just the floor plan. And with that being said, being selected, I'm going to go ahead and select again. I'm not going to change the margins. We're not going to go ahead and put a background image inside there. And we are going to go ahead and select the actual layout slide inside itself to say, well, what are we going to be putting in that one single block? We're going to go searching for, well, what are we searching for in our exports? In the type up here, in the pull down, you could do a custom image. So that could be a JPEG PNG image of anything. Maybe you're doing an inspiration page and you have a picture of the ocean or seashells or something that is your color inspiration to put together this project. So you're not limited. You can upload your own JPEG PNG image at this point to fill this image, or go searching in your exports that you've already created for a 2D floor plan or a 3D rendering camera view that you've already created, or a dollhouse view rendering. style board. As I mentioned, we've already built a style board for this project, so we could actually insert it inside here. Products. You can search for any of the products that are actually inside the model. It'll have the imagery of that particular product, be it a piece of furniture or an accessory, puppy dog. Materials, the paints, the colors, paints, and or any of the actual materials, wallpapers, woods, etc. Color, as I said, color and paint. And you can actually add additional text to a page. So again, you're just determining the category of what's going to be inserted there. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and go for the custom. Well, let's go for the 2D floor plan, see if we got that up there. And within that, we're going to go ahead and see what is available. Select a 2D floor plan. And what's inside my system. These are related to this particular project, as we've already created the exports, as I showed you earlier. Starting with maybe, here's, I went ahead and did the scaled image that I inserted inside the project that I traced from. I actually exported it as an image, and I can just insert it here so it's the first language to say, here's the actual project on site. Again, you're determining how you want to tell your own story on this. I could add then another slide and say, okay, maybe this slide, I want to go ahead and show the actual layout of the particular room that I've already done. So, I mean, I could call this, just call it plan for right now, plan, excuse me. And go ahead and say, what kind of page am I looking for in this layout? Again, I'm going to go for the full page up here as a single page. And we are going to find that image in its plan. So let's go down to the little edit pencil down here and say, what type am I looking for? We're back to the 2D floor plan again that we're looking for of the exports. And here's the export right here. And maybe I wanted to do the black and white line drawing or start going to the actual color code, color block of that, or the actual full materials over here. So let's just jump the gun, go right for the full materials. And there's your second page in your presentation. We could certainly go ahead and title that accordingly. The way that it fits inside that one single layout can be modified. It's covering the entire, it's containing itself. You can fit it horizontally, you can fit it vertically. You can also choose to go ahead and change the scale of the image that's inserted to zoom in on a specific detail and or even move it around. And again, we could title this page accordingly or go back to reset, which will take you back to a default of starting this as a clean slide again. But for right now, let's go ahead and scale that down so we fit it inside our page. And visually, we've got it in place. And let's go ahead and add another slide. And again, could create your own title block in here if you wanted a different title block in the background of these particular pages, depends on what you want to create. And these pages, of course, once you make one, you can always duplicate the slide and not have to worry about reinserting a background. So let's talk about maybe showcasing some of the materials that are in this particular project. So instead of showing just one layout block, let's do it for multiple blocks. So this new page, I'm going to go ahead and choose to show a different layout. And there's different layouts out there that have different components in there, different configurations. If we want to say we're going to be doing multiple materials on there, maybe something like so. So with these particular blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the larger one on the side, I could start adding products or materials. So this particular image up here, I can select and I can say, well, what do I want to put in there? I want to go ahead and put a product in there. It's what product do I want to place inside there? So we're going to go shopping for all the products that are in this particular project. Maybe I want to concentrate on this really cool chair over here. And of course, beautiful advantage with floor planners, we can change, the different views of that particular product as to how you want to showcase it in your presentation. You can also choose to take the title off if you didn't want that title showcasing on the bottom strip down there, or you could just leave it. I'm just going to delete it for right now, so it just shows just the particular product over there. And then we could, we can still do the same idea. We can still scale it and move it into a different location inside that particular square. Let's go to this next square over, and let's say that we're going to go ahead and put another product inside there. We can say product and go shopping for that product. And maybe we're going to showcase this lamp, and select the lamp and choose how you want to view it. And again, if you wanted the title on there or not, I'll just delete mine for right now, so it's a nice visual. Go down to the next tab down here, and maybe you want to go shopping for something like a color, a paint that's in this particular product. Say select a color. I know this is a paint in my hallway. This is the paint in the powder room. Or for the paint in the hallway. And there's your paint color also located up there. We could then maybe go ahead and change out to select maybe one of the materials. There's wallpapers in this particular product, and select that material. And these are all the different wallpapers that are associated with this particular product, and or even the tiles and flooring patterns. The general overview material of the walls was more of this gold grass cloth. And again, I can just take away the title because I think it looks cleaner without it. Excellent. Now, I have a larger image over here. So again, how you want to tell your story. I'm going to go ahead and go for maybe a 3D render. And again, it's searching the project for anything that we've already created an export of, and go ahead and select the 3D render. There's an interior shot right there. Nice. And again, we could scale it accordingly or move it around to whatever it is you want to go ahead and communicate. There's that lamp again. Pull back a little bit. Maybe this is what I want to showcase in this particular view. A bit of the furniture on the side. And maybe that is my view. Again, we could have titled any of those pages. So again, I think you kind of get a sense of how we can go forward with creating the story from your cover to your floor plan that you had, the floor plan you created, the imagery that you placed inside here, and then maybe even go to some of your other interior renderings out there. Maybe we're going to add a slide out there, and we're going to show that dollhouse rendering out there. I could have way too much fun with this and keep going further and further. We'll just go ahead and put a single slide inside there and go ahead and go shopping for an image. And we're going to find it as a 2D floor plan. Select it. Oops, that was a 2D, I apologize. I'd rather go back to our 3D renders. There we go. The dollhouse perspective, I like that. And change our scale so we fit it inside our document. So we've got all that going, and then maybe go to a final thank you page. So let's go ahead and add another slide out there, and we could say we're going to say goodbye and change the layout. We're on a single slide. Oh, didn't need a slide, sorry. Let's go for none. Back to project. And we are going to go ahead and actually change the layout to none, because I want to put just a background image, because I made a thank you slide from that PowerPoint presentation previously. So we're going to have just a closing page that you always use, maybe branded by your company, etc. So we can choose a background image. And I think this is the one I had where there's a JPEG. Thank you for a review. Look forward to our future design collaboration, etc. So once this is all generated, and again, we could select any one of these slides and change its draw order if you want to move it around. basically done at this point. We still keep working on this presentation. We can modify this in the future. Um, it is being auto-saved, just like your projects are auto-saved. So you'll see this turn into the gray circle twirling around, obviously, while it's doing its saving process on an autosave. When you're done, let's go ahead and actually create the document. So it's actually the project is created here as a presentation, but we want to create the PDF. So in the upper right-hand corner, then at that point to finish out is the export PDF document. And it's exporting. And I could download a copy of it. Export successful, so download it. And up here, I've got the download. I think the picture may be in the way right now, but it's in the upper right-hand corner. I could go ahead and take that download and put it onto my device from here. And we are all done. Or we could just go ahead and view the document that we created. And this is the PDF document. It's a slideshow presentation that you can share electronically with your client. There's also an address that's stored out in the cloud. That if you want to go to this particular page, as it's saved inside Floor Planner's cloud for you. So either which way, however you want to share that communication. Now, if you happen to be a business or enterprise account with Floor Planner, another caveat to the presentation feature is a business or enterprise account, since you have multiple users, business accounts up to 100 users and enterprise accounts are unlimited users inside your account. You may have a brand, certainly you do, of your company as to how you want to make your presentation, like these background images that I talked about inserting. You can create that for your team ahead of time as a template. So as an administrator of your account, you can create a presentation template in the same order that we're talking about here and save it as a template so that, as you saw when we started this presentation, one of the options in there was to select a template. So your team could actually go ahead and utilize that template as you've already discerned to say there's a certain way you want to tell your story, a specific cover page, a specific brand, and then your user, your sub-user, will be able to go ahead and make those customizations to that client's name, etc. And then order determine how you want to tell your story. Do you want to start with maybe an inspiration slide of just what's your inspiration of this particular project? Then do you go to a standard floor plan of the entire project? Do you then go to a specific room floor plan? Then materials and finishes inside that room, any of the rendered perspectives, the dollhouse views. So an administrator of a business or enterprise account can certainly discern those ahead of time and all the way down to even the thank you page at the end, so that your sub-users, your designers and team sales certainly have an easier way, that the pattern's already been determined for them and they can go ahead and follow that guide and not have to make these extra creative decisions to make sure we represent your company properly and utilize the brand as you determined it to be. So as an administrator, as I happen to be an administrator myself, I could go to admin settings and actually go to presentation templates and create a custom presentation template in the same order that we have here and give it a name, and then have it shared to my entire company to use that as a guide every time we start to create a brand new project. Oh, a lot of words today. I'm not going to go through the actual creation of the template. It's the same sort of order about all the tools that we just talked about, but your administrator would actually think about how that story is to be told. Take your time with this. This is really, really a cool feature. I think it's going to save you a lot of effort because it's really cool that the images that you can create inside Floor Planner are awesome. I think it's a little laborious to have to download each individual one and then reassemble them into another platform, another software out there, and then tell your story when you can do it all internally. inside Floor Planner. And I think the flexibility also, or the added flexibility of the fact that our 3D models have multiple views as you're putting them into your presentation, that you can discern them and determine them ahead of time while you're making your presentation, and you can make those adjustments accordingly. So a great way to take all these beautiful exports that you've created of your one project, assemble them into a document presentation that can be modified and then can be re-exported anytime you want to make modifications and send it out as another PDF. Also, these particular exports, once you've already, well, obviously, once you've exported it as a PDF, it is now its own sense an export. So you can go ahead as yourself and you can go ahead and actually go into your exports of your particular project and you will find that there it is for sure. Something I didn't take the moment to share with you, and I do apologize, is that there was an option in there also for the style boards or mood boards. So we could have gone ahead in the pull down menu, as we pulled to say 2D or 3D images, one of those options was also style board. So we certainly could have just selected the style board and it would have also been able to been inserted into your presentation. Appreciate you taking the time with me today for sure. I think this was a great exercise. Look forward to seeing you all and maybe some of our dedicated training sessions that we offer on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But this recording specific for you today, you can take it at your own pace, revisit it, and get yourself up and running utilizing the new presentation feature. Appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you.